My boss fired me for attending my father's funeral. Today, I became his new boss. My boss fired me for missing a client meeting to attend my father's funeral. 6 months later, I walked into the boardroom as the company's new CEO, Pert, and the look on his face was worth every second of my calculated revenge. When my father died suddenly of a heart attack last October, I was devastated. He was my hero, Patter, a single dad who worked 3 jobs to put me through college. I was the first in our family to graduate, and his pride had been immeasurable. The funeral was scheduled on a Thursday, the same day as an important client presentation I'd spent weeks preparing. I explained the situation to my boss, Richard, and offered comprehensive solutions. I'd prepared all materials in advance, trained my colleague Jessica to deliver the presentation, and would be available by phone immediately before and after the service. Family emergencies don't pay our bills, Richard replied coldly. I stared at him in disbelief. 5 years at the company, countless weekends sacrificed, and this was my value. I'd watched Richard approve time off for golf tournaments and hangovers, yet my father's funeral was deemed optional. I'll be burying my father on Thursday, I said quietly. I am sorry that's inconvenient for the department. When I returned on Friday, my access card didn't work. Security handed me a box of my desk items and a termination letter citing failure to meet professional obligations. Jessica later told me the presentation had gone perfectly printed. The client had even sent a gift basket thanking us for our thoroughness. I could have sued for wrongful termination. Instead, I made a plan. Richard had always underestimated me, viewing my quiet competence as a lack of ambition. What he never realized was how many relationships I'd built throughout the industry, including with our company's largest client, Parent, who happened to be looking for a senior consultant with exactly my expertise. I accepted their offer and spent 6 months demonstrating my value, carefully documenting process improvements that saved them millions. When their CEO mentioned they were considering acquiring my former company primarily for its client list, I saw my opportunity. The client relationships aren't as solid as they appear, I explained, showing data I'd ethically maintained, but the acquisition could still be valuable with the right leadership changes. I never explicitly suggested firing Richard. I simply presented facts about department performance before and after my departure. The declining numbers told their own story. The acquisition was finalized last week. As part of the deal, I was appointed CEO of the newly merged entity, tasked with restructuring the leadership team. This morning, I walked into the boardroom where the entire management team waited nervously. Richard's face when I entered was everything I'd imagined: pan shock, followed by the slow dawning horror of recognition. For those who don't know me, I am Alexandra Chen, your new CEO, I began. I believe in 2 fundamental principles: exceptional client service and treating employees with dignity. Some of you already exemplify these values. Others will need to demonstrate your commitment to this new culture. My eyes met Richard's briefly. He looked away first. After the meeting, he lingered, clearly preparing his defense before he could speak. I handed him a document. This outlines 2 options, I explained calmly: a generous severance package effective immediately, or a 90-day probationary period in a reduced role reporting to Jessica. The other way, I'll need your decision by tomorrow. You are doing this because of what happened with your father, he said, his voice a mixture of accusation and fear. I smiled. No, Richard, I'm doing this because you are bad for business. The fact that you think personal vendettas belong in professional decisions only confirms that. As he left my office, I placed my father's photo on my new desk. Dad had always taught me that success isn't about getting even, pair, it's about getting ahead while maintaining your integrity. I didn't fire Richard for what he did to me. I simply created a situation where his true character would determine his fate. Sometimes justice doesn't need your help.